Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
While you were in Edo State as the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, what would you describe as your greatest accomplishment over there?
Let me answer you by telling a story. You know, before I went to join them, I think Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually called me because when I was when before Governor Shomole made the second offer, from what I heard, he had approached Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, and he believes he's one of the people who can tell me something and I won't refuse. So when he called me, he said, "Look, Comrie was doing a lot of things. He was doing a fantastic job in Edo State, but he had problem with communication. So those accomplishments were not being properly projected." And he said, "I believe he needed an effective communication person, information person to help him manage the information and project the information." So without sounding immodest, when I got there, I realized where the problem was coming from. So given the goodwill one had in the media, we were able to reframe the messaging. We were able to do that, so that within a month or 2 or 3, there were changes in terms of perception of Oshomole government. As a matter of fact, I think sometime in 2012, that was February 17, 2012 specifically, that was the day the late Oba Bini, Oba Erediawa, was giving out his daughter in marriage. So I attended the ceremony, and then Governor Emmanuel Duagan, who was the governor of Delta, was also invited. So we were together at the ceremony. So when we were going, he was in company of late Chief Tony Anen, the godfather. So he now said, Louis, thank you. I could see Oshomole image had changed now since you got into office, since you joined them, that information management of Oshomole had changed. I mean, trying to bring some professionalism into the whole management architecture. So I noticed Chief Aneni wasn't happy by that call. So Chief Adeni came over while Governor Udragan was complimenting me. By the way, I'd known Udragan before I became commissioner. You know, as the editor, for there's no way our paths would not have crossed. So Aneni didn't quite like that. So he was now pointing a finger at me that, Louis, you will soon see what will happen to you. So I wanted to challenge him there. I said, Daddy, so Udragan pinched me as to keep quiet. So when we got to government house that day, because Oshomole also attended the same ceremony. So the ADC to Oshomole now say, bros, I saw you are a leader. You know, they call her Nene the leader. He said, I saw you are a leader from where we were. You guys were shouting. I said, no. I said, well, threatening me. So I tell this story just to illustrate the kind of impact one was able to make. And I feel happy that my own intervention at that point was able to change a few things. And I think without sounding immodest, Oshomole was a successful governor of Edo State. And I believe whenever and wherever his story is told, people like us will be given some credit for helping to pass his message effectively.
Now, currently, you serve as the senior technical advisor to the president. What exactly does that job entail? You know, this is the first time I'm seeing someone occupying that position. What exactly does the job entail? What exactly do you do at the presidency?
Let me borrow let me invert the metaphor of Mr. Unduka Obagbena. That's the publisher of this day.
Yes.
When my appointment was announced, thereafter, whenever he sees me, he always say technical advisor. When he say technical advisor, you know, with my experience and network in the media, The sort of job we do is is behind the scene, is offering technical advice, bringing our value, our network in the media to bear in terms of information management. You don't discuss strategy, but when people are the receiving end, when they get hit, they know somebody is working.
Now, the fascination for writing, what prompted it? What triggered it? I mean, you started out as an advert executive, but while there you were contributing to the op-ed pages of the Concord, so that fascination for writing, what necessitated it?
A bit of correction. I didn't actually start as an advert executive. I actually started as a secretary. And long before then, I think I've always had a flair for writing, and that dates back to my secondary school. I initially when I got to class 3, I had boxing was my stuff. I was into amateur boxing. I was in school boxing clubs. I was into a lot of boxing. Then, as time went by, I also joined the school press club. I joined the school press club, and I'm talking about around 1986, October 1986. I was in class 3 then. That was about the time Diligiwa died. Remember the situation that created. Yeah. So the death of Diligiwa brought me closer to written world. So I found that I could now divide my time between boxing and writing. So when I got close to class 5, that's my final year in secondary school, I became like the deputy editor of the school press. And I did my work while waiting for my result. I also did common entrance exam, Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti. I was admitted to study accountancy. I did common entrance exam. I was admitted to study accountancy. And when the result came out, I think the result of the common entrance came out around June or thereabout. Then the WAEC result came out almost around July. So I made a 7 credit. Then I had a B7 in mathematics. So the drama, therefore, happened when I got to Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti with all my baggage, everything ready to resume. So when I wanted to now register at the admin office, when I tendered my school certificate, I was just 15 years, less than 16 then. So they now asked, where is the other result? I thought I did well. No, they said, no, the other result. I said, this is the only one. They said, no, you cannot do accounting without having a credit in mathematics. I came with my dad, and it was like a movie. Because before we left Ikare for Ekiti, it was a huge celebration. That look, I did a common entrance. A few weeks later, while result came out, everybody was, you did well. I mean, you did. I said, I had A in literature, A2 in English, and A. I mean, I made good result. So, long story short, they told my dad and I that look, the only option I had, if I wasn't going back to Ikare with my suitcase, was to change course to a program that didn't require mathematics. And that program was the Secretarial Administration, that is office. Okay. So that was why I ended up changing course in situ to Secretarial Studies. My dad didn't quite like that. Because he had told his friend that his son was going to become an accountant. So while I resumed on campus, I honestly wasn't too fascinated with the program I was doing. But then my escape there was writing. So I joined the school press, campus press. And within 2 months or so, I became very well known on campus. I was a fearless journalist and all of that. So even though I was like a fresher, the leadership of the campus president was by somebody in HND. HND is higher national diplomat. So even though I just came in, the guy who was HND1, who was editor-in-chief, I more or less overshadowed him in terms of output, of writing, things I was doing, stuff like that. So throughout my 2 years at Polytechnic, I was more known as a campus journalist than even a secretarial person. So it was that background I brought to Concord. It was the background I brought to Concord. As a matter of fact, when I resumed at Concord as an IT student, my first boss was Mr. Dele Alake. Same Dele Alake. He was my first boss then in National Concord. So they employed me as an intern, industrial trainee secretary. So as soon as I came in, they noticed that if they gave me script by journalists then to type, writing senior journalists who were writing, who is this little boy? We give him script. It wasn't the age of computer, so you will write them in long hand. So you will pass it to your editors. I mean, the journalists will write, you will type, and then pass to edit. So when they bring the raw copies, I will be editing them. And who is that? He's correcting us. He's just typing. Why is he correcting us? Then one day, I think it's third week of my assumption of duty, I did an article, which was like a short story. I then handed it over to Sunday Alabi, who was deputy to Dele Alake. When he read, he said, "Where did you copy this from?" Because it was bearing my name. I said, "I wrote." He said, "You wrote it?" I said, "Yes." "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." He just walked straight to the subject. He said, "Pass this for publication." So when that was published, I think the fourth week, or when Dele Alake noticed that there was a little boy in the house who he write very well. When you write, they call it errorless. You don't correct anything. So Dele Alake that called me. Say, "Louis, you have a baritone voice. You have a studio voice. You should be working in the TV." We laugh. And I now say, "Look, I heard that you write very well. Even though you are an IT student in the secretariat department, I've asked that your name be put among those who be getting weekly transport that was being given to reporters." So that was why, even though I was working as secretary, I was also writing story on the side. So within 2 months, my reputation grew in Concord. I was not just writing in Sunday Concord, I was also subscribing to daily paper. I'm talking of the daily titles. Usually then, Larry Arogundade was the featured editor. Then Taiwo Ogundipe was the midweek editor. So I will send the story to Larry Arogundade. I also send to Taiwo Ogundipe. So in a good week, you probably will see my byline on the Sunday. By Monday, you also see me in National Concord. Wednesday, you also see me in weekend. In National. So within 3 months or so, Mr. Isika Kesie, who was editor of National Concord then, invited me over to his office. When I got, I was afraid because I thought maybe they went. Well, as a reporter, when you get someone by national editor, it's like facing a Mr. Isika come and say, "Louis, I've been following you, right? And you write so well. But I understand you only have OND. Now go and get admission to university. I will get Concord to give you scholarship. You have a lot of potential." So why this was going on was when the real big boss came in, that Tunji Bello. I'm talking about a space of about 6 or 5 months. It was actually Tunji Bello who did the bold thing by asking the advert section where I've been deployed to release me, because he then was the group political editor of the Concord group and was very influential then. So based on the recommendation, the idea of not being a graduate was waived. So I was employed as OND holder, as a journalist. So I was earning salary as a graduate with OND, even though I didn't have journalism. And he took me, he mentored me, they groomed me, tried to teach me the nuances. When you're writing opinion, it's different from news writing, analysis, and all that. So he chiseled me to